What's up guys, how's it going? GGFOREX here and welcome back to my Forex challenge series. Now, I haven't really got good news, okay? I lost on AN, it was going great, but I found a re-entry possible on the 30-minute time frame. It's like a nice order flow entry. I put my original entry that I was in at break even, and then obviously it came up, failed on my re-entry, and then took me out on the other trade at break even, which is a shame because it was going really well. It did look like it was going really well. It made targets as a downside, but there could be a re-entry, there could not be, but I did explain my concerns to the trade, as in there was potential areas above that it might want it to fill first. It doesn't mean it wasn't going to do that immediately. It could have finished my trade, took out my targets, then came back up and filled that area. But it is what it is. I can't really argue with it. So technically now I am down minus 0.5% on the challenge, which is okay. You can definitely come back from that. It's just frustrating, isn't it? So let me just show you what has happened. Right, so if I delete this one first for a sec. Sorry. The price came up, hit my entry on the 8-hour time frame. Let me just show you the 8-hour time frame. Right, came back, looked great, just touched it, bang, came down, right? And then it triggered me in on that 8-hour time frame. I go to the 1 hour, and you can see it create targets, came up, bang, created more targets, which is all good, so I want to see. But then this is when I fell asleep, right? So this is when I went to bed. Obviously this is New York closed. This black section is the Asian session. It's now London is opening in 1 minute time. So you'll see a green bar come up here, that'll be London open. Right, and then obviously overnight it came down, took out these targets that I mapped out, that I was like, yes, I'm confident it's going to continue to go down. It did, but then it came up, pushed, and took me out on this 30-minute re-entry up here, the one that broke these equals, pushed up, came down, made more targets. That was a point of interest for me, another good point to re-enter. But it didn't do that, it just broke through. So break even on one, minus one on the other. So I'm probably like, well, it's not minus 5, I'm minus 0.5, I'm probably minus 0.4 because I was up 0.6 last time. So yeah, so that didn't work out, but you know, it is what it is. I can't argue with it. That is the fact of life. We could still possibly have a trade on CAD Chef. If that plays out well, it's 35 pips away. Maybe CAD Yen, but that's about 50 pips away. So we'll have to see how that goes, and if there's any more opportunities this week. Fingers crossed, but yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. Okay guys, something interesting here that I've noticed, right? So I'm seeing these equal highs on a 1 hour time frame. And I was like, okay, maybe these are going to be, possibly these are going to be liquidated, right? It broke this low. It's kind of got targets, and this was where the orders come from. So I was thinking, all right, maybe get in on a liquidation of these lows and then ride it down. But then when I look at it on the 5-minute time frame, or the 10-minute time frame, look what happened in that area. And I guarantee this was right at New York close. Oh no, it was during Asian session. So that news release that came out at 1 PM. So I got on a new session for NZD news, which I said was going to happen, right? NZD news liquidation, sorry, right? So that is today. And then look, it went bang bang, and then, but then when I went on the 1 hour, I wasn't there, right? It just vanishes. But then if I have a look at my broker, look at it happened on my broker as well, on the Ftmo broker, it's bang bang. So that's something to look out for, because it looks like these haven't been liquidated, but possibly they have, because of that huge wick. But you can't see it on the 1 hour, you can only see it on the lower time frames, which is new to me. So let me know in the comments below if that's happened to you, or if you've witnessed this before. I'm still looking at this for a possible setup. It still looks good, either that or NJ. NJ still looks good for me to possibly get in on a trade on this. So I'll keep you guys updated. Right guys, it is sorry, 2 days after the last time we spoke, right? So it's now Friday the 26th. I think the last time we spoke was the 24th on a Wednesday, and I was looking at AN, right? I was in AN failed, right? So I lost. I was down 0.4% on the account. And then I had some sort of like, right, this needs to change moment. Something needs to happen, needs to click. And what happened was I back tested. I went through all the currency pairs and I studied how they moved, and I picked the ones that I liked the best. Not the ones that move the most, just the ones that what I see, what I want to happen, happens more often than not. What are those pairs, right? So I've got 13 pairs, right? Unlucky 13, right? But it's 13 pairs that the movement of those pairs is what I like, okay? It's what I like to see, it's how I like to get in, it's how I like to trade, right? So I got those 13 pairs, I back tested them, I studied them, and I was thinking, right, what am I getting hung up on? What am I struggling with? And it was the overthinking process. I was overthinking my entries, I was overthinking my stop losses, I was overthinking my targets, right? These are 3 very important things, but how do I simplify it? How do I make it easier? How do I stop myself overthinking and one, maybe getting too close to getting stopped out, or one, how do I best protect myself? How do I make it easier? How do I systemize my trading style in a way that protects me, where I can just leave it, walk away, feel comfortable, whatever happens, and how do I get a realistic reward to risk whilst having a target that is achievable, right? And I have found that way, and I tested it out, and you know I've been waiting for CAD yen and CAD chef to trigger. It took like 2-3 days for it to get to my entry, right? And they've just hit TP today, right? So I'm technically up on the account 4.2% or something, right? It's now Friday. Technically, I finish on December the 1st. So December the 1st is, so it'll be the 29th Monday, then it'll be Tuesday the 30th, and then Wednesday next week will technically be the last day. So I probably won't have an opportunity now that works, that takes me over to 10%. What this does mean is I'm gonna get a free retake, which is fine. I'm using other people's money and get a free retake. I've got essential data, right? Essential data that I can now use, implement my trading plan, and I'll show you in a sec, right, or what I mean by that trading plan and how powerful it is. And if I just did this at the start, oh my God, I would have smashed it, right? And I know that's hindsight, but I'm gonna break it down and show you why I did those trades, because it's exactly the same reason why I took CAD yen and CAD chef, right? It's exactly the same reason. It wasn't anything different, it wasn't luck, it was just, right, these things happened and this was the outcome of it. Oh, these things happened again. What's the outcome of this happening? Oh, the probability is, you know, quite high. I'm gonna take the trade. Trading is probability based, right? So I'm gonna break that down for you now. It was off like the daily time frames. It was only a 2.4 and a 2.3% RR. It sounds low, but when you add them up, right, you get 4 of these trades that you can just leave these triggered overnight, right? I made technically 3K overnight, in my sleep. I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to worry about the crazy spreads because the spreads happened over 10 p.m. My stop losses were quite thick, right? Probably 30 pips plus, right? I'll show you the specifics in a minute, right? Or specifics in a minute, right? Of where I don't have to worry about that. I can show you exactly where I could have got an insane reward to risk of like 1 to 14, but I didn't because of what was happening during the Asian crossover, which I think someone got messed over by their broker during that time as well. When the 10 p.m. happens, the spreads go mental, and that's where a lot of people get stopped out, especially if they're trading on the lower time frames, where the brokers just manipulate the market, because that's just how they like to play the game. That is just what happens in this industry. You need to know how they play the game to avoid the minefield that you're in, right? So let's just let's just go into the charts. I'll show you my CJ and CAD chef trades, and it will be insane. This came up, came down, made targets. So this trend line got liquidated, which is what I said will happen eventually. Got liquidated, came down, made more targets, pushed up, broke, right?
and that was 2.32. So it was like 7, so that would have been almost 9%, or would have been just over 9% in total, just from those trades alone. Right, so that is how I was trading this pair, on both of these pairs. And if you have a look, that's what happened. Those are the 2 trades that I'd done. And if I have a look at the Ftmo account on the back end, you see it's 3,300. Obviously I'm finishing in profit, but it's not going to be enough to finish by the end of the 1st of December, which is fine because of what I've figured out. The data that I've gathered from this test, it's not cost me any money. Like, let's just get that straight. It's not cost me money to find out this information because it's a free retake. Even if it did cost me money, I wouldn't have been mad because that information has now changed the game. It's made things so much simpler. I no longer overthink my entries. I no longer overthink my targets or stop losses. It's just a simple, systematic process that I'm using now to play the higher probability game on a higher time frame. So one thing that might change out of this is I might go from a normal Ftmo account to a swing Ftmo account again, because then I kind of know that if I'm going to follow this process, I'm going to have to hold over weekends, and I'm going to have to hold during news events, right? So I kind of don't want to get stopped out of those trades on a normal account because of those weird rules in place. Yes, I get less leverage, but it's okay. I never really break my leverage anyway, because with this system, I'm only gonna add to the trade when it's already taken out TP1 on my position, which is the main thing you want to do. You want to protect the capital, you want to abide by the rules, which is still annoying, hence why a personal account is the way to go. But to get to that point and get a decent personal account, you want to use these funded companies. But yeah, so I can't see myself passing this challenge by the 1st of December. Obviously, if there is other opportunities out there, then we could be having another swing at it. Only, remember, I'm still gonna play the game, so I am always gonna finish in profit, so I'm definitely gonna get the free retake. As I'm 4% up at the moment, I can go down to like 1% if I wanted to, remember? But it doesn't matter, I probably ain't gonna see the opportunities again till maybe the following week. So maybe the 1st week into December, maybe where I see a nice retracement happening and we can look for re-entries, which would be great for the start of the next challenge. Yeah guys, if nothing happens yet, I hope you enjoyed this series. I hope you've actually learned from my series, right, of how I've taken the challenge, learned along the way, struggled, came back, studied, tweaked, refined. Now I've got a system in place that I'm really connected with and niched down, maybe, just because I'm not looking at 28 currency pairs, I'm not looking at gold, I'm not looking at US 30, I'm not looking at any indices or any metals. I'm just focusing on currency pairs that move how I want them to move, and more often than not do what I want them to do, if that makes sense, right? So I've connected with these currency pairs, they make sense to me, the moves make sense to me, I know I can be consistently profitable from this. The probability of these trade setups are high, and I just need to plan my trade and trade my plan. And it's going to be an exciting time, especially when I start to teach you guys of exactly how I do this. It's so simple, it just makes life 10 times easier. But anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this series. I'll see you on the next one. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Okay guys, just to show you the fractal nature of the market. This is exactly what I want to see, but maybe on a higher time frame, right? So this is on CAD yen, right? It created this beautiful trend line, right? Creating liquidity. Have a look at the RSI coming down. So we got bullish, strong bearish divergence, right? Even from up here and up here, it was diverging into a logical area, which is this daily area where I was entering on the higher time frame, right? And look what happened, right? It created highs, liquidated the highs, liquidated the trend line liquidity too, right? Beautiful. This would have been an amazing entry on a 20-minute time frame. But there's a reason why I couldn't take this entry, right? Because if I did, we'll be absolutely laughing right now. It would have been a 5 pip stop loss, and if I went for my original TP, it would be down here. Right, and it would have been a 1 to 30, right? But what was happening around this time? Watch this, ready? Boom. So you can see, if I just delete that out of the background, you can see, right, London, New York, London cross, New York, Asian. Right here with a 5-pip spread, I would have been stopped out of that trade. I would have stopped at this because the spreads would have opened up to like plus 10, plus 15 pip spread, and I would have been stopped out, and then the move would have happened. So how annoying would that would have been if I went to bed, I'm in a great position, it looks great, it's even did this again, look, even on this bit, create a trend line, took the high, I can't see it because it's going over the top, but look, create a trend line, I can't show you, but you see what I mean, took the highs, came down, right, fully came down a bit, then retraced, and then boom, right? So what happened here on a very small time frame again, whilst happening again on a daily time frame. So I could have got a 1 to 30, absolutely smashed the challenge, but I would have been stopped out because of the spreads, because of what it was when it was happening at that time of day. You know, you need to be aware of where price is, what time it is, what crossovers are happening, because someone on the GGFOREX group got stopped out, didn't know what was happening. He goes, my stop loss wasn't hit, but I stopped out. That's because of the spreads. As soon as it hits 10 p.m. GMT, you got New York ends, Asian starts, and spreads go mental between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. right, at night time, and maybe around about 11:15 things start to go back to normal. But by then this move would have happened. So you need to be aware of that, and you need to play it safe. Hence why I went on the higher time frame. But yeah, that is what's possible when price gets into a logical point of interest, and then boom, 1 to 30. Beautiful trade. But yeah.